the topic today is about giving back to the community and how you do all of those things and what the return on investment is. So, right away, why is it important to give back to your community? Why is it a smart business practice and a must-do for a small business?
When we opened our store 13 years ago, we had spent every nickel we had on the purchase of the building and the build-out and not enough inventory. So we didn't have the money for normal advertising and normal marketing, and we chose to work with charities. We opened our business with 263 names on our mailing list, which included the PTA, the Neighborhood Association, and all of our cousins. We now have more than 33,000 clean names on our email list, and we've built them all through charity-related events. We initially planned, my husband's kind of a hermit, so I put in our business plan that we would have 4 major events a year, planning that we would have 12, but I didn't want to scare him. Last year we had more than 80 special events in the store, most of which benefited different charities. And we've done everything from a shopping night where a girls' school alumni association comes in and we give 10% of the sales to them. They drink some wine, get a little bit tanked, and shop. We also do a huge event every year with Yelp. Yelp helps for the holidays, which is a collaborative event with lots of different vendors coming in and serving their food, serving their whatever they have. Great big party. And that's where we generally raise about $8,000 that night for a local foster care community. So we have found that these things have been a great way for us to make friends. The charity people are nice. You get a nice kind of customer, and it has been so good for our position in the community because we're viewed as a store that gives back and that does nice things. So we also decided about our second year that we would donate an item for every single silent auction or raffle or whatever. The only thing I draw a line on is all-night parties for seniors in high school. I think people should pay for their own babysitting. So we don't donate to that. We don't donate to anything overtly political. But I actually buy things to have things on hand to have something that would look good on the auction table. And our customers come in and say, "Oh, you gave us something for the whatever." And I say, "Yes, we were so happy to do that." Of course, I have no idea what we gave. But it all adds up and has really built our business.
That's something that I've actually heard, that giving and with either gift cards or product is a tough spot for retailers, because when people come in, they get asked a lot, and when people come in, you don't want to say no, but you may not get to say yes. So, what are some best practices for kind of mitigating that and helping that along? Deborah?
Sure. It is difficult sometimes because you get a lot of requests for donations, and it can be anywhere from someone having a garage sale in their community, they want something, and I'm like, or I had someone come in a couple of months ago that had 200 invitations go out, and they wanted 200 items, something for every single person. I can't do that. It's just one small store, and I always hate to say no, but I will give them, I give just about everybody something. I like to build gift baskets, but I always include a gift card, because somebody may get a gift basket, that doesn't necessarily get them back in the store, so I always put a gift card in, because I want them to come in and spend that, and they're going to spend more. So we always do that. But I do draw the line at, kind of like you said, with some like garage sales, I don't do that. So I try to make it more of a more nonprofits than anything. I do a lot of the lady association, I always do Catholic charities, any of the churches that come in. So we don't say no to too many people, but I think you have to get them back in your store. And I give them an item that I would want to get. And I know I hear a lot of stores say that, it's a good way to get that clearance aisle gone. If your clearance aisle is not selling, I don't want to give that to somebody. I want them to have something they're going to like and it's going to bring it back in the store that tells them something about our store, what we have.
It's really important that whatever you give is well branded as well, because sometimes you'll give something, they dump it all into a basket, and people who didn't win the basket have no idea that you were involved. You want to make sure that your store name is easily visible for everybody who comes to that party.
And I do think it has to be personalized for that charity. So if it's, Second Chance for Animals, for instance, we have pet things in our store that then we put a pet basket together because that charity is going to draw animal lovers. If it's bread for American Heart Association, the bread purse thing they do, we always try to make sure we have something that's appropriate for a group of ladies that's going to be attending that event. So I think I echo what you say.
What's the advantage that you see of giving products as opposed to gift cards?
we almost, like, I don't know who said this, but we almost always put a gift card in with our
Oh, okay.
product. Almost
So it's
always.
gift card plus.
Yes. And sometimes it's not a real large gift card. Sometimes we throw a $15 gift card in there in that basket because we do want them to come back into our store.
Right, and we do the same, just like that. The only thing is, here's the question. How many times a week do you get approached for donations?
Daily.
Yeah,
Daily.
daily.
I had, my top was 13 in one day.
Oh, gosh.
When
Different
it's
times
back
of
to
the year
school
you'll-
time, when it's back to school time, we have several high schools and stuff, and every team, every
Yeah.
club wants you to donate something.
Yeah. And with us having 2 shops, then that's double. And so it feels, what we've had to do is go in and look, who are these people? Are they our people? Because we can look in our system, I'll do this when they want something large. Are they a customer? Are they a customer already? If they are, or they're associated with someone that is important, a lot of ours are our own people. Our own staff are involved in church and involved in school, those things. So we give to our people because they're part of our family too. But we have had to say, we do exactly what you said. We do a gift basket and always a gift card because we do want them to know that we're there. A lot of people might not even know where we are. And when they get that, then they're able to come in. And they appreciate that as well. But we've had to, I look at it and think, how do we do that? Because otherwise, that's a full-time job. Just getting those baskets together, just getting them doing the correspondence, all of those things. And we've had to pick our most important charities that we stand for, that they know we give big. And we say, that's not one of our charities that we support. These are the ones we have. And it keeps it a little cleaner, so we're not getting every PTA mom in for something. We'll do it if we already have a relationship or something,
Right.
that kind of thing. But ours, we do it a little bit differently because it's so much here.
I think the hardest part to deal with when you come in for donation is the people that they have an event of somebody that's sick and don't have insurance and stuff. So how do you handle, because it's repeatedly, on who you pick and choose to help with
Oh,
that?
that's hard.
That's a hard one.
It's very hard. And sometimes it's hard because you empathize, but it's a lot. And it's things like that too. It depends on the situation.
Because you have to make sure it's not a scam.
You have to,
Yeah.
And how is it gonna represent you? Because once you give something, like when you said too about it goes in a big basket and it looks like a mess and they don't even know it's from, I. We require that everybody be a 501(c) charity. And I just blame it all on my accountant, who has had nothing to do with it whatsoever. But that's what accountants are for, I
yes,
think.
absolutely.
So we just
That's
tell
a great
people that
idea.
we're very, very sorry, but we are unable to donate to any personal
And
situations.
it's also important to take a close look at how it directly affects your community. I mean, the topic of the community and how making those donations, how is it going to come back and really benefit the people
exactly
of
right.
your immediate community? It's huge. So gift cards, I have found, are by far for me the best.
And the
You-
easiest.
The easiest and the best. You have 2 opportunities. You have an opportunity to build your customer base and create relationships that will last a very long time, hopefully, if you do it the right way. And then also you have incremental sales boost. I see about a 50% incremental sales boost from every gift card that I sell. So it's the dual nature of that donation. It's effective.
Do you guys mark your gift cards or anything that you put in charity baskets so that you know it's...
Yeah, they're numbered.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
identified.
Yes. Yeah. Smart. Yeah.
So we've been talking about how we react when people, ask us for donations, but there's also, like you do the proactive thing where you're going out and finding people, and that's really important too, to identify a group or to associate yourself with. In our case, we sponsored or worked very closely with HEAL program in our town, and they provide healthy eating for elementary school kids, and they create gardens and all of that. And we just thought that was a really great partner for us, the kind of demographic we want. We also worked with the farmers market and did some co-marketing with them. The idea being that they go to the farmers market in the morning and then to our store, our nearby store, in the afternoon. And that was successful as well. We sponsored a booth at the farmers market for nonprofits. So every week, the different nonprofit could have a booth at the farmers market without paying for it. And we had our name on the booth, so everybody in that nonprofit knew that they were there because Toque Blanche had bought the space for them. So thinking of how we can use our donation dollars in a way that are really kind of accelerate and coincide with our marketing strategy.
In Sacramento, we've lost our symphony, we've lost our ballet. We don't want to lose our theater companies. So there's local theater companies, something called Music Circus. We have the traveling shows. So now we have become a sponsor of some of the shows locally. So it's taking your advertising dollars, inflating them a little bit, beefing that up, and then becoming a sponsor so your name is out there. And I'm hearing, oh, William Glenn sponsored Waitress. William Glenn sponsored this. I'm hearing it in the community. You can't quantify it at the cash register, but it becomes a social media thing where we're sponsoring this so that we can keep the theater active in the community.
Yeah. How important is it for you to find a charity or a person or, even a group to partner with, not just donate to, but to really partner with in your community?
Because it is a partnership. I mean, when you dig in deep, and that means heart, soul, and monetary, it has to be something that you connect with.
Right.
Just like your example. That's why Special Olympics means so much to you.
Absolutely.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So, and I think we're all different that way, and I love hearing that story. It's very special.
We do so many events for charities. We found that we have to kind of vet them very carefully before we agree to do an event for somebody, to make sure that they're going to bring enough people to the event, because this becomes our marketing dollars. And if they don't have enough people, you have a flop of a party, which is, of course, the kiss of death. And then you end up making a larger donation because you feel so sorry for the poor slobs because they didn't sell anything, because they didn't get anybody at the party, so it cost you like 4 times as much as it should for all the wrong reasons. So we have gotten now where we have a meeting with the people about the party and what our expectations are before they bring people in for a shopping night. And we expect them to do a certain amount of promotion, and how are they going to do it, and how are they going to describe it, and can they guarantee that we will have at least 100 people at the party, or 80, or whatever seems like the right number. And that little bit of pre-qualifying has made a huge difference in the success level of the many events that we do.
Mary Liz, what are some of the best practices that you put in place besides meeting with your charities when you're doing an in-store event?
We have our in-store events pretty well regimented. And people come in and say, well, I'd like to move the furniture. And we'd say, well, no, actually, your buffet will be right here, and we can do, how many tables do you need? We tell them how it's going to work. Because we have done so many of them, we really know how to make our space shine and be ideal for them. And we make, obviously, adaptations, like if they're going to bring in 300,000 bags of socks and blankets for the homeless and hope that they take them out when they leave. But we make the right adjustments for any specific event. But once you get a pattern down for something that you're going to do, you just continue to perfect it. So we know where the bar is going to go, we know where the food's going to go, we know where the trash bins are going to go. We know to tell them what time it starts and what time it ends and exactly how the whole thing is going to run. And it makes it really easy. If you try to do something custom for each different charity to make it a little different from the one last week, you'll just lose what's left of your mind.
Yeah. Anybody do in-store events and have kind of a best practices for like a shopping night or a charity night or anything like that?
We do it with knife sharpenings, all the time. We always partner. We don't charge for our knife sharpening events ever, and we always appreciate the vendors when they come in and spend their time doing that. But we always base it around either a boot can drive or a coat drive, or you can bring in up to 4 knives, but you have to donate 4 items, and we always give that to whoever we're donating for that time, whether it's, like we do a lot with food cans because of food bank and a lot with Code Charities. Doing things for the homeless.
How important is it to have that vendor connection when you say I want to do a knife sharpening
It's
event?
huge for us because we always do like a drawing, so they'll donate items for us to give away, which is really important. Plus just their knowledge there, and there's always a little bit of staff training that goes on. And I love my vendors. I always rely on them to help us out, whether it's a donation or just coming in and spending their time. I mean, they take time out away from their families and their job, and they come in. I mean, it is their job. I get that, but they're also spending time on the road, and it's so beneficial. My customers love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Customers will come back for weeks after and say, well, I met the man from whatever this is. And remember when that
Exactly.
lady was in who showed me how to tie a scarf? Well, fabulous. But they make it, it's like they made another friend. They think that these people are little tiny rock stars who come in and show them things. And it's
Exactly.
hugely important.
Yeah.
We do, we have an events association for our district, and we're kind of in a historic area. So our big fundraiser is Gumbo Cook-Off Day. So each store, restaurant, whatever we are, like down the street, makes gumbo for Mardi Gras, and the community buys bracelets, and so they can come in and get a taste of the gumbo. They vote for their favorites or people's choice. We have official judges that judge for the business, the street, and that raises a lot of money. Each business picks their own charity that they want to support. So there's a lot of charities that day that benefit, and we'll have, because we know how much gumbo we have and how much we measure out, we'll have about 1,200 people in the store that day within a 3-hour period. So they don't always see a lot of stuff in the store. We don't sell a lot of stuff that day, but they come back because they like our displays, and yeah, they like the fact that we're supporting something. So I think that's a good investment for us.
That's great. That's great.
Could I mention that that's a really good point? You can't draw a straight line from, I had this event or I did this for the charity, straight to the cash register. They come back slowly and it builds.
Yes.
And sometimes you get credit for supporting a charity that's not even one of the charities that you like. Just, oh, you do things for lots of, nice things for lots of people, and that all has a cumulative effect that's hard to quantify, but is very, very serious.
Yeah, can we talk more about that? Anybody has any more thoughts? I think that's a great point right there. You are putting all of this time and effort and money into the community. So what is the ROI for you? How do you measure that?
It's the flip side of shop local, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, we're asking our customers to support us and shop locally, so it's the quid pro quo, I think.
I think even when we give, you give and you don't even think about it, but it's when somebody for the churches or wherever you give and come in and say thank you. I don't think you realize for that how many people you have touched, and that's where it's really satisfying for me that that they actually recognize that's what I've done, and it's really important. It makes my heart happy. So yeah.
And I don't think you can always measure it either. I mean, when you give to an organization, they have 200, 300, 400 people at that event, and you've donated, and you're on that list as a donee. Donee, is that word?
I love it.
But they don't tell you when they come in necessarily that they saw you at that auction, or they heard about you through that auction, or maybe a friend went and they're like, oh, there was this great store that donated this item. You don't always know that.
But you hear it.
But you do
You
hear
just
it.
kind of hear it that, oh, we saw you someplace. You did
Right.
something nice for somebody, and
It's that top of mind marketing, right?
it's
Don't
totally
really
top of mind.
remember,
and It helps people perceive us as good corporate citizens.
And I
Well, with
think
the
that's why-
investment of time, the investment of time, you witness the building of the culture in your
Yeah,
community.
and that's why I don't like to say no to people if I can get it done, and we do require that they do everything in writing for donations. I don't like, even if it's just a $10 gift card with something, somebody is going to come back into that store with that card at some point, or give it to somebody, and they're going to spend more money, and they're going to have that great in-store experience at my store, and they're going to want to come back. So it's hard to gauge sometimes what your
hard to
return
gauge.
is,
It is very hard.
but you want to get your name out there, and you want to do good for the community. So
How do you promote your events, or even whether it's in store, out of store, anything that you're giving to, and also maybe at the end of the day, if it's a charity that you have given to, how do you promote? We here's all of the proceeds from that night, the shop-in night, or here's where the canned goods went to, or
The charities that we work with are really very organized as far as their lists and their community outreach programs and their social media, because as the next two generations have kind of picked up the banner, the flag, to step in as the community leaders for fundraising, they're very in touch with the social media aspect of giving and of charity. So we really let them drive that, but then we will post the results. When I go to a fundraiser where we've donated, and I do require that our products don't get bundled, that's one of my stipulations. You can pair like a Cuisinart ice cream maker with your beautiful Cabernet, but it can't be in a gift basket together, because the branding of William Glenn Chef's Mercantile is really important to be seen out there, because it is our advertising dollars that are going out there. It isn't just the community outreach, which is a huge portion of it, but let's not kid ourselves. It is our other avenue for advertising. So it has to be out there. So we always put that back out on social media at this event for these kids who have this rare disease that the school got together. We raised $200,000. We raised, $100,000 for scholarships for, the local schools.
How important is it too for you guys to give your time behind the scenes? Maybe not to a charity or to an event that you are chairing or you're the face of, but maybe the person you're the business next to you and you have a good business relationship. Like, how important are those things too for business?
Like the old saying, a rising tide lifts all ships. And that's so true. We all support one another, then we can, the likelihood of growth it skyrockets.
I've been really active in the past in Rotary in our local town, in the Chamber of Commerce, being on the board, the Downtown Merchants Association, those kinds of things. I just felt that was really good exposure for our business and introduced me to a lot of people. So everywhere I went in town, I knew the people there, and they would introduce me and say, yeah, that's Charles, he owns Tote Blanche. And I just thought all those connections were really positive. In fact, it was one of the reasons that I left the corporate life to be a retailer in a small town, was to be more connected to the community, not just through my business, but personally connected. So it was very rewarding to me, but I also thought it was a good thing for my business.
How do you feel like overall your efforts, whether it's for charity donations or it's a shop at night or anything like that, how do you feel like it raises the profile of your store? And this is kind of something that I want everyone to contribute to at some point, so I'm just going to go around the table. I'm going to start with Sarah, because I started with you first.
So the store that I have, the Panhandle in Granbury, it's been in continuous operation for 25 years. It was a store that I grew up loving. It gave me the inspiration to cook and to love to cook, just as I do today. And so I grew up with that desire to try to give back and inspire some of those same feelings with the kids that come into the store, and it's mine now. So the high school has a wonderful culinary department, and I've seen that grow, and I've seen kids come in and be inspired through that, and I see them come alive when they look at all of the different fun things that they want to use, and perhaps where that will take them in their lives if they pursue that. So I see those returns, but just people walking by the store and looking at the windows and thanking me. It's like, thanks for what you do.
Right.
But really, I benefit so much more than I can ever even really communicate because of the blessing of my community and being a part of it.
It's a huge impact on the profile. Like I was saying, with the sponsorship of one of the local shows, the people thank you. They come out of the woodwork to thank you for making sure that we do our part for those events to still take place in our community. Sacramento is a big town. It's a big city, but big cities have their drawbacks too. We have some great restaurants that are popping up, some great publicity, sports teams and all that, but some people can get lost in the woodwork, including the charities. They can kind of go the wayside because maybe they don't have the wow factor. So by having a fairly good name attached to their event, they can get back into the spotlight, and by leveraging our social media and our mailing list and our email blast, we can bolster that for them. And so their membership and their benefactors, the people who benefit from the services, really do appreciate it.
I think we do a lot with social media that way too. And some of those things are, first of all, it's a feel good. We all feel better when we do something good. But it's almost with our social media too, we give a lot of shout outs to a lot of things that are important to draw attention to it because we have so many that follow. And so that's very helpful. And we have people that come and say, hey, we didn't know that you were doing that. And that comes back to us and it makes us look and feel that we're part of our community. And we do have people come in and say, thanks for that. Thanks for that. And they know it. And they know that they can count on us the next year to do that.
We've only been in business for 5 years, so I think it really helped us establish a name out there and maybe reach people that otherwise didn't know we were there. So that's been really important for us, that it keeps our name out there, it keeps it in front of people. And maybe they didn't go to that luncheon, but their friend won the basket or won the gift card, or they heard we did cooking classes because they asked questions at the event. So I think that has really helped us as far as it is a marketing tool. But I think someone else said this, it just makes you feel good. And it makes you feel part of the community, and giving back to the community is so important. And I think that's what Shop Local is all about. The big box stores, you don't see them sponsoring theater and things like that. But when you can point to the one little mom and pop shop that does, I think that's real important.
Yeah, I agree totally with what you said. It makes you feel good to give back, and you want to give back because you want people to know that you're a local and that you support the community. So I think it just gets your name out there. I have people that come in every event that we do, whether we're partnering with our Whole Foods next door, we're partnering with Catholic Charities, or whatever we're doing. They'll say, we didn't know you were here. And I'm always like, how did you not know we were here? But I mean, Tulsa's not huge, but there's always someone that's going to come in from an outlying community or that just drove by every day and has just never had the chance to stop in. So when you're doing your events, I think, and we leave them open. We don't always close them to whoever's there. We have our doors open. If anyone wants to come in, they're welcome to come in. We don't say, no, I'm sorry, this is a closed event. So I think it just gets your name out there, and people will they find you, whether it's by word of mouth or they're just walking by or they were having dinner at the restaurant next door. They're going to come in when you have that event going on because they want to see what's happening.
Shopping is a social activity, and people consider stores like ours their friends. They're coming in and we know who they are. We help them choose a wedding present for somebody or get just the right thing when the baby was born. And we're part of all of their special times. We're also, many of us are places where people go when they're feeling a little sad or they're cranky or they're agitated. They'll come and shop in a store like one of ours because we're nice to them and we talk to them. And our charitable effort is just an extension of that. We give hats to any lady who's clearly having chemotherapy. We have some great looking soft hats. We just quietly give her one. We do a lot of little things like that. But I think what it all boils down to is, as a store owner, my husband and I, we want our store to be an oasis of happiness. We want people to come in and feel better when they leave with a bag, or preferably with a bag, but whether or not they have one. And giving to the community and supporting the things that mean a lot to our customers is a wonderful position for us to be in. We're privileged. So for us to be able to share that, whether we're sharing our space or our money or a product or just our name on something, is something that is a great joy and an honor to be able to do.
Many of the things in my store can be purchased online through Amazon or other online retailers. So I want to give everything I can to give people a reason to come in and support my store. So this is just one more way of doing that. And also, I just think it's part of the social contract. I think local stores on main streets in these small and mid-sized towns help define the town. So part of that is giving back to the town and the people in it that are supporting us.
I don't even think you realize, all of us every day, what we do to give back to the community. Again, like Marilla said, that the people that come in, that they're having a bad day, and you know, they may not even buy a thing, but I think you've got that connect with that client or customer or new customer and a new friend. So, you know, I'm in a small town, so I think you donate in different ways. It's not always monetary. It's just giving and being kind and listening to that story and helping, like you say, with the giftables or just the time. And I think that's important, you know, to get the awareness out of that. Is a store that you go in and your kid's happy, it's friendly, they're there to help you, whether it's with a problem at home that they just need an ear or a gift or, you know, so that makes me happy, and it keeps aware of in the community who you are and what you do.